us
Hi.
today. Now, of course, let's tell you that Singapore Athletics will be very proud of the fact they've won 3 gold, 2 silver, and 1 bronze so far, with 3 gold medals coming from Sui Ryong's victory in the men's marathon. Shanti Pereira, of course, victorious in the 200-meter sprint, and Tung Kui Rong winning the women's shot put. Let's put it to you then, Shyam. How would you rate their achievements so far?
Wow, I think it's really credible. Amazing stuff, especially Shanti's, because it was like the first gold medal in more than 40 years, right? So I think this is a new era in women's sprinting for Singapore. Amazing.
We haven't traditionally been particularly strong in track and field, especially for a number of years, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
What could you attribute this to? Is it really the Singapore effect, having this at home?
It might be. I think maybe also because I think it's a systemic thing. Now we have a new system in place because it's a new SAA and a new team, a new National Sports Association, and then they are revamping a lot of things, putting in place policies and all that. So I guess now when we see a resurgence, it's probably because their policies are materializing in some sort of way. That being said, talents like Shanti, they don't come very often, right? So sometimes you do have to wait 20 or 30 years to wait for someone special like her.
Well, we're hopefully going to hang on to her for quite a bit. We're hoping that she stays active in athletics for a long time more to come.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah, there you go, Shanti Pereira, who has really lit up these games, I must say, in terms of the athletics field, right? Because it's been, everyone's talking about Joseph Schooling, and we don't want to take anything away from what he's achieved. But swimming has always been something that we're pretty good at.
Yeah, we've had that tradition.
Yeah.
And I think it's also more exciting because the Thais have been traditionally like track powerhouses, and then now suddenly we are coming into the picture. So it's really special for us. It's like a landmark, occasion for us.
Just check. Obviously, you're quite close with the athletics fraternity.
Yeah.
What's it like amongst you guys? Those of you perhaps who are not involved anymore, what's the reaction been? Have you guys been sending congratulatory messages, or how?
Yeah, we've been like WhatsApping each other and texting and then discussing. We are all like so impressed with Shanti's maturity, and it's also interesting to note that in the last SEA Games she was 4th. So she was, that means so close yet so far. She's probably been, like spurred on, and then it took 2 years more to polish up and develop certain areas for her to come to this level. And what's even more credible is that the Filipinos are now so strong with Filipino sprinters training in US and all that kind of thing, and she even managed to get the better of them. So kudos to her.
On the flip side of that, though, do you also get messages from them when they're a little bit disheartened from having not done so well?
Point.
And do they come to you for advice and how to deal with it?
Yes, actually, the guy sprinters, I'm like quite close to them. People like Amir, Alfie, Kelvin, Gary, and so we are friends. So sometimes they've been like discussing issues. I was just texting Kelvin and congratulating him for his great run, and Amir too. So sometimes I can tell him my point of view, and then they realize. Sometimes I can learn from them also. So it's really great. Yeah, I ran with them in 2010, so I'm quite close to them.
Shyam the mentor.
Shyam the mentor. We love it. Now, this morning's heat produced eye-catching results in the men's 400 meter, where Zubin, Mancheril, and Nung Chin Hui made it to the final. Zubin, who's only 18, finished 3rd best qualifier with the season's best of 47.71 seconds. Shyam, how do you rate him?
Zubin's really talented. He's 1.9. I think he's about 1.9 meters tall.
Wow.
And most importantly,
representing Singapore.
I think it's his limb length. His legs are really long, so his stride is really good for a 400-meter person. So in that sense, he'll be very efficient when he runs. I think you can see that he's going really hard in the heats. He runs the first 300 really, really fast.
He's quite a wiry frame.
He is. He's much taller than. I think that's the biggest advantage that he has over his opponents, in the sense that he's a lot taller. So by stride length alone, right, he has that sort of advantage.
That's what people say about Usain Bolt as well, don't you? With his height.
Correct. But in the 400, you cannot use too much frequency. You really need to be efficient and maximize your stride length. And then here we see him coming out to the straight, but the rest are also quite strong and they look quite comfortable. If you look at the thigh on the inside,
He's holding back here.
yeah, he is holding back.
Clearly holding back.
Clearly holding back. And then you look at the expression of the Filipino runner. He looks happy. He doesn't really look tired either. So
let's not get too excited.
we shouldn't get too excited, but I'm sure that Zubin can run faster. That being said, I think there are two runners that have run 46. So they have something in the bag that they might pull out. We don't know.
You obviously don't want to show all your cards.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for the 400, because there's so much lactic acid production and all that, you really need to just run to qualify.
Of course.
But Zubin also looks really relaxed. So wow.
So, keeping with Zubin here, do you think then he has a chance of medaling, or are we, as you said, let's not get too excited just?
I think from the way he ran today, he has a chance of medaling, but it's really going to be tricky because I think the other 400 meter runners are really experienced and they're not going all out. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an exciting race. Another interesting thing is that the last champion, I think from Philippines, I think he pulled his muscle in the heats. So we have one less contender, unfortunately. But
well, let's talk about a teammate there with Zubin, Ng Chin Hui. He's just 21 years old. He's clocked 48.76 seconds in the heats. Are we seeing a new generation of 400 meter runners at the moment?
We are. We definitely are, and I think for quite a while we didn't have really fast 400 meter runners, but now we have a younger batch. Actually, Kenneth Koo that ran in the 4x4 is also a 47 man, and he's sort of the mentor of the team. But yeah, it's good to know that we have a younger batch that are coming up. Zubin just came back from America. I think he went there for like 2 or 3 months to train, of hard training, and then so I think this is his first big race after his American training in America. So.
And can trainings which only lasted for 2 to 3 months already be visible at the games now?
It can if you go to the training at the right time of the season, like when you're supposed to load in terms of the training volume, when you're supposed to push your body, then it can, right? But you have to be very careful so that so you can't train too much until you come into the games tired. So it's a really tricky sort of thing.
We've also got two girls in the two women in the final as well for the 400 meters, Tipi Ria and Goh Chui Ling. What do you think of them?
They're really, really talented. And again, you see very tall, lanky athletes. They're both quite young. And I think that in the next SEA Games, we should watch out to them. I am expecting like personal best from the two of them. But the Vietnamese, I think, are also quite fast, running 54 something. So
You say that about every race, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I told you the Vietnamese are the new sprint powerhouses, right? In the 4x4, the 200, the 400. So they're doing something right, definitely.
We've really got to get one over them, haven't we? Just before, I want to just quickly go back quickly to Zubin and Ng Chin Hui. They didn't race in the relay yesterday, the 4x400, whereas all the other finalists in the 400 meter finals were there.
Yes.
How much an advantage or disadvantage is that now? Are they fresher, would you say, or would you say the others have now got a bit more used to the track, have had a bit more time out there? Where do you stand on this?
The issue with the 400 is that because it's a longer event and you get lactic acid when you run, you can tire quite fast. That being said, 400 meter runners are supposed to be able to take a certain amount of volume, right? And they're supposed to be able to run rounds. So like the Vietnamese and the Filipinos and the Thais, I think they're quite conditioned, so they are not afraid of having to run 3 races in 2 days. It's quite a normal practice. I don't think that they will be like tired. Yeah.
Well, we definitely have a lot to learn from them. Going for personal bests have been the target of the athletics. Last night, the women's 4x400 meter team finished 4th, but surprisingly clocked 3 minutes 40 seconds, 0.58, which shattered Singapore's old record, of course, which held for 41 years, which was, we surpassed it. Shyam, how was that like for you to witness that historic
It
moment?
was exciting, right?
Yeah, we loved it. Didn't we?
Yeah.
Thought they almost got bronze.
Yeah,
didn't
we
they?
thought they would get a bronze. I think the last part we couldn't really see because the camera.
Was focusing on first. Who cares about
Yeah,
that?
exactly. So I'm not surprised. I think I said that they probably break a national record, and later in the 4x1, I'm expecting it again. The reason we can have this is because we have well balanced runners. So you have consistent performance in all four legs, and I think in the next SEA Games we can gun for gold. Athletics is about long-term development. So in your first SEA Games or your second SEA Games, you can be fourth or fifth, and then if you hang in there, you slowly get into the medal contention.
Thanks for that, Shyam. He's been getting a lot of predictions right, by the way, so we're going to keep asking him and hopefully
He's the
they
guru.
keep coming through. Now, let's head over straight to the National Stadium because we've got the men's long jump going on right now, and let's see what's going on over there.
The 2013 gold medalist from the Philippines, Henry Dagmil. From Thailand, with the best of 7.59 meters, Jirapon Sutuma. From Vietnam, the 2013 bronze medalist, Pham Van Lam. From Singapore, Sean Moe. From Vietnam, with a personal best of 7.65 meters, Nguyen Van Mua. And from Singapore, rounding up the field, Kan Meng Lin. Ladies and gentlemen, your finalists for the men's long jump.
Now the 400 metres for the women, a straight out final here. We don't have a starter in lane 2. Lane 1's vacant, and so will lane 2 be now, with Achima Engchuan from Thailand at DNS. And for Singapore, we have Jaraya, we have Velaboy from Malaysia, Shireen Velaboy, Nguyen from Vietnam in 5, got Yong Fan from Thailand 6, Quoc Tin Lan from Vietnam 7, and then Nurul Mazlan from Malaysia in 8, and Choi Ling Go from Singapore in lane 9. So a field now of 7 competitors in this women's 400 metre straight final. And these are the introductions, including the Singaporean in the inside lane.
Assignments. Lane number 2 has withdrawn, and in lane number 3, representing Singapore, Team Viria. In lane 4, she's from Malaysia. She's part of Malaysia's 4x400 relay team, which won bronze yesterday. She's the youngest competitor in the field at 16 years old. Her father is the game's record holder in the men's 800 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, Shireen Samson Velaboy. In lane 5, gold medalist in the 400 meters hurdles with a new games record. She's aiming for a hat-trick of golds in this one. She's already won gold in the relay, the 4x400. From Vietnam, 344, Nguyen Thi Huyen. In lane 6, she won the silver medal with the Thai 4x400 meters relay team. Number 303, Yongpan Triwadi. In lane 7, she was placed 4th in the 200 meters. She won gold with the 4x400 relay team for Vietnam. Yes, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Kwak Tilan. In lane 8, ladies and gentlemen, the bronze medal winner with Malaysia's 4x400 relay team. Competitor number 79, Nurul Faiza Asma Mazlan.
Season's best
And
of
finally,
55.32.
lane
Won't
9.
see her figuring here. And the same to be said about Choi Ling Go, 57.95. But a generous round of applause for
She
her.
was
And
fourth in
the young lady, 22 years of
4x400 relay
age,
team with Singapore. Representing
and
Singapore,
clearly has a few fans.
Go Chui Ling.
So the final of the women's 400 metres, inside to outside, Pariah Valaboy, Nguyen Yongpan, Kwak Mazlan and Go. And they're being called to the starters blocks for the women's 400 metres, a straight out final. The shot there of the lady out wide from Malaysia. They're ready to go. 400 metres, one lap of the National Stadium ahead of them. Asian record 49.81, SEA Games record 51.83. And beginning quickly is Nguyen Tai Huynh, who goes towards the back section. And out clear at this stage is Kwak from Vietnam. So it's Kwak Thi Lan from Vietnam in front. But now chasing is Nguyen Thi Huynh from Vietnam. Vietnam 1-2. And then came Mazlan from Malaysia in third. And getting up on the inside, Valaboy is now into fourth place. Around the turn, it's a real clash between the two Vietnamese. And on the inside, it's Nguyen taking the lead from Kwak Thi Lan, the outside. Nguyen is clear. Kwak Thi Lan's not done with. She's coming back with 25 metres to run. Nguyen's holding on though. Nguyen Thi Huyn's going to win it. It's about a 5 metre margin in the end from Kwak Thi Lan. 52 flat the time just outside the games record, and the delight on the face of Nguyen Thi Huyn. And that's clearly a personal best, and she's pulled one right out of the box that's improved on anything she's run this season. Good lineup here with Singapore with two finalists, including Mon Churji Percy and also Chin Hui.
And here are
Here are the introductions. First of all, the man from Malaysia, Dinesh
He has
Krishna.
clocked the personal best this morning with a time of 47.47. He's also part of the Malaysian 400-meter relay team, which finished fourth. Ladies and gentlemen, Dinesh Krishnan. In lane 3, he's already won the gold medal with the Thai 400-meter relay team. Please welcome Kunanon Sakyao.
He's a real threat here.
In lane 4,
Sakyao.
he's the silver medalist at the 400-meter hurdles at this Games. And he was the bronze medalist with the Thai relay team. Here he is. From Vietnam, Kwak Kong Lee. In lane 5, ladies and gentlemen, silver medalist with the 400-meter relay team.
Gado
He's the current
Alajan
silver medalist
Jr.
from the last Games in this event. Representing the Philippines, Edgardo Alejan Jr.
Can run faster than the 47.24 he's come out with recently.
Lane 6, he was part of the Malaysian 400-meter relay team. Representing Malaysia, number 49, Alet Muhammad Arif Zulhilmi.
I think this man is going to be very hard to beat. He switched off in his heat this morning. Be watching for him, Zulhilmi Alet from Malaysia.
He's got a new national record of 47.29 seconds. He was second in the heat this morning, representing Singapore, Zubin Monkriji.
It was a strong run in the heat, and what I liked about it was he clearly had a little bit left in the reserve as well.
A bronze medalist with the 400-meter relay team for Vietnam. Number 318, Luong Van Thao.
19 years of age, Luong Van Thao.
Finally in lane 9. He was placed 5th with the 400-meter relay team. Representing Singapore, Ng Chin Hui.
And another great reception for Ng Chin Hui. And this is going to be an excellent race, memorable race coming up here. This will be one of the highlights of the night, if not the highlight. So we have Krishnan from 2, Sukiel from 3, Kwak from 4, Alajan 5, Alet 6, Percy 7, Luong 8, and N in 9. In Chin Hui in the outside lane, which can be a disadvantage because you can't size up the rest of the field. And the stadium hush now for a big moment. 2 Singaporeans in lanes 7 and 9, and away at the first attempt. He got a pretty good start. Chin Hui out wide. Beginning quite quickly was Kwak in 4. Also breaking into his stagger very quickly is Zulhilmi Alet from Malaysia. Into the back straight, going to the front is Luong Van Thao from Vietnam. The 19-year-old is off and rolling. He's going to try and break their hearts with 200 metres to go. But also not far away is Alet from Malaysia, giving strong chase. And towards the inside, Kwak Kong Lik from also Vietnam. Vietnam first and second around the turn. So it's Luong Van Thao, the 19-year-old, being claimed by Kwak Kong Lik. And towards the inside, Sukiel is finishing fast for Thailand. Kwak in front, Sukiel coming at him. Kwak and Sukiel. Sukiel's got him. Thailand first, Vietnam second, I'd say. And getting up for third was Alajan from the Philippines. Silver medalist 2 years ago, bronze medalist in 2015. 45.98 the time. That's a games record. It did turn out to be one of the highlights of the night, a thrilling finish as he wanders over to the semaphore board and stands next to the 45.98 proudly. Kunanon Sugayo from Thailand.
Now, just to remind you, we've got UK Shyam here, Singapore's fastest man in the studios. We've been looking at the 400 meters races earlier on, Shyam.
Yes.
And I'm afraid no medals for the Singapore runners. We didn't expect that, to be fair. Let's look at the women's first of all, and the 2 runners there. Priya was one of them, of course, as well as Ng Chin Hui.
Chuling.
Chuling, sorry,
Yeah.
Ng Chin Hui, yeah, sorry. And they're still young, 19 and 21. Still a lot to come from them, surely.
Chuling and Priya.
Yeah. 23 and 22.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, and the 400 is an event where you need a lot of years of training and then to get experience, to work on your strength and all that kind of thing. So I think in the next SEA Games we got something to look forward to, right? The 2 Vietnamese running 52, I think they've trained for many, many years to improve their ground speed.
Yeah, they were clearly well in front of everyone.
Yes,
There was no worries
in
there.
fact 52 is actually Asian class. It's
Wow.
really Asian class. So the Vietnamese are really strong. Very, very impressive.
And these girls are absolutely relentless. I mean, you don't see them pulling back at all. Look at her. She's got a personal best. Thi Hui, Huyen Nguyen with a personal best of 52 seconds.
Yes, and I think Chuling and Priya, 57 is actually really credible, and I think it's been quite a while since we've had so many females running well under 60 seconds. So it looks like we're having a 400-meter revival. 55 would be definitely within their reach in a year or 2.
Well, so we say that, and as I said, 23 and 22.
Yep.
Is there still scope for them to reduce these timings much more?
Definitely. So they need to just go back, analyze their races, and try and work on certain areas like strength and their ground speed. I think the two Vietnamese probably ran 52 because their ground speed is higher. Their 200 speed may probably be low 24s. So that there are a lot of areas that you can work on in the 400 in order for you to improve.
Don't forget that Shui Ling also got a personal best as well, right?
She got a personal best, and I think she first started out as a long distance runner, and then after that a high jumper, and then she switched to the 400. So there's a lot more years for her to specialize and do training that's specific to the event. So that means there's a high possibility of her improving her times.
Wonderful. Now, based on your experience, because you were a 100-meter sprinter, how different is 100 meters versus 400 meters? Do you sprint the 400 meters, or is
Wow, yeah, it's okay. The 400, it can be a scary. Everyone says that it's really painful. The 400 training is really painful because it's a lot to do with lactic acid tolerance, and it's also a sprint event, so you need basic ground speed. The 100 is it's all about power, and there's this element of race distribution, but it's very minor sort of changes.
Perhaps you can explain what race distribution means.
Okay, meaning like how hard you're going to go at which part of the race. So we were talking about in the 100 final, a lot of strong finishers. So when you come off the block, you might maybe just want to go at 98%, which is a very subtle, maybe less than a 0.1 of a difference, and then push at 100% after the 60 meters. Whereas in the 400, I think the variations in speed are a lot. There's a lot more variation. Mechanically, also in the 100, you focus on frequency. You use a lot of power. In the 400, it's all about maximizing your stride. Finding a rhythm and floating at certain parts of the race.
Okay, wonderful. Now, let's move on from the ladies and let's go to the men's 400 meters. Very impressive race. Unfortunately, our boys didn't get a medal from that one. Were you expecting that?
I knew that the Vietnamese, is it the Vietnamese one or the Filipino, right?
That was a dramatic.
Yeah, it was a photo finish, right? I think 0.03 apart. But we could see in the heats that in Zubin's heat, a lot of them that crossed the line were actually sort of switching off and coasting towards the last 50 meters. So it's quite deceptive, right? They definitely had a lot more to push.
Absolutely.
In the final. And they shaved off 1 second, right? So like the leaders ran low 47, and then in the final they ran 46 flat and 46.03 or something like that. So this is really impressive. You can see them pushing in the straight.
And the Vietnamese, he pulled away from the pack very early on.
Yes.
But unfortunately, everyone caught up with him on the turn.
Exactly. And I think in this case, it's about the 200-meter speed. I'm sure these guys can run a 21-second 200 meters to be able to run 45.98. 45.98 is Asian class again, and it's a games record. So very impressive. You notice about the Vietnamese, a lot of their sprinters are now quite tall, right? And that's definitely a good thing in the sprints because it means that your stride length will generally be better than the shorter sprinters.
You mentioned, of course, earlier that Zubin's also a very tall.
Zubin's also very
1.9, I think.
Zubin's also 1.9, but he's 19 years old, so there's reason for optimism because he has a lot of years ahead to train.
Welcome back to the full coverage of the 28th SEA Games. Very exciting stuff. You just witnessed the men's steeplechase with a very dramatic finish right towards the end. Congratulations, of course, to Christopher Jr. from the Philippines. He takes the gold in that one.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that because it was looking like it was going to be one-sided, and then right at the last stretch, it was a nice sprint finish.
A very painful one.
Now, let's talk about a couple of other results that have come through for Singapore. Pretty good news.
Yep.
Not gold medals, I'm afraid, but we can tell you that Hannah Lee has got the bronze in the women's discus. So well done to her.
Right.
And the other one to tell you about is Michelle So. who has got the bronze as well in the women's high jump.
Fantastic.
We have got sprinter UK Shyam in the house with us now. Shyam, Michelle Sung rather. That was you were saying to us off air earlier that you definitely expected a medal.
I definitely expected a medal, and she broke the national record again. I think 185, and so she was a medal, probably a gold hopeful. But the thing is, in big games, just a slightest centimeter makes a difference, right? It's like 0.02. It's the difference between gold and bronze, and so at least she got a medal. But I'm a bit disappointed
If she'd hit her best, 185, that would have tied her for gold. Unfortunately, 181 was her
yeah,
jump.
these things happen in big games. It's really tough because of the pressure. So it's really good that she got a bronze. Very proud of her. She took a break, I think, for quite a while before returning to high jump and then breaking the record. So it's been a really spectacular year for her. So I guess this is a nice ending that she got a bronze.
Thanks for that, Shyam. We're just going to head over to see highlights of the women's discus. Subendra Insang got the gold medal with a throw of 59.56, which, by the way, is a games record. So well done to her.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Of course, coming in second place, we have Yap Cheng Tan from Malaysia with a distance of 46.95, considerably shorter than the gold.
Yeah, it's a massive win, isn't
Yep.
it? Absolutely huge, 13 meters. And a season best for Hannah Lee. That's the big news. Season best for her, 45.72 for Hannah Lee, who gets the bronze medal. So well done to her. She actually was pretty comfortable in the end against the fourth place Mama San.
Absolutely. With about 4 meters.
Yeah, pretty good distance.